So welcome everyone to India's first public policy debate that we are doing first time for the India. And we have picked some exciting debating motions for you to debate. So we will go through the orientation, which means we will covering the team selection to schedule for the upcoming days and bit of other format that we will debate. Please put yourself on mute, whoever is not speaking. So currently I'm the only one speaking, so please be on mute and we will give you the time for a Q&A and then you can speak. So this is what this Ogly X IT Delhi debate, Planet X India's for public policy debate that we are doing on sustainability. Talking about Ogly, we have done, hundreds of debating tournaments across the India, biggest one Indian debating league, where students from each and every state of the India get part of the state team, and then we play a tournament in line with IPL. So you have team from Maharashtra, team from Delhi, team from West Bengal, and they compete with each other like IPL match. And the winner goes to be part of the team India, and they goes to internationally represent India. And these are the places and the universities where Indian students have represented India through us, whether you talk about Canada, US, UK, Czech Republic, or China and all. So that's what you have the stake. And I guess as mentioned in the mails and everything, that if you win, you have a chance to represent India at the Yale Invitational, which is going to coming in September and October. So we looking to be the whoever wins, that you're going to be part of the team India and going to represent India at the national and international level.
And I do want to share, Kamal sir, that some of the debaters, who are in our senior category did start much earlier in grade 6, 7. So it's a journey. It's a journey that you're putting yourself on. Obviously, Kamal sir is showing you the milestones that some of the senior debaters have joined us. But I'm very proud of all of you who are putting yourselves out here for a debating match instead of playing soccer or badminton or whatever sport. So mind sport is important to build on, and you will see the benefits of that as you go along. So congratulations for even coming and participating here, to you and your parents as well, or your siblings.
Yeah. So, and this is your trainers that will train you for the next 2 years. One of them you will meet, Afreen, today. Excellent debater and adjudicator. She will help you go through the format because it's going to be new format, first time in India. Many of you will not even heard about it. Public forum that we will debate. So you will get the training in the upcoming 3 days, 4th, 5th, and 6th at your respective time. Or your respective time going to be 5:30 to 6:30 for the junior category, or your category 6th grade to 8th grade. Flow of the session, what we will cover today. And once the session over, what are the 3 things that you should know? What are the tournament schedule that you already know? That first we're going to train you because this is a new format altogether. The first 3 days, tomorrow and onwards, 4th, 5th, 6th, going to be training. Then we will have the qualifiers, 8th, 9th, 10th. Then we'll select who wins, or we'll invite them for the finals and semi-finals at the IIT Delhi. And also we will make it open that others can also come at IIT Delhi and spectate the match.
Kamal, can you just move to the next slide as well?
Nitisani?
Yeah. So this is the schedule. So we have 4th, 5th, 6th for the master classes. Primarily on the format that I explained, that this is a new format, required more training. And 5:30 to 6:30 going to be your time. 6 to 8 grade, 9 to 12 is 6:30 to 7:30. Then you will have 3 days for qualifiers, 8, 9, 10. You will get your results by the end of the 10th, where you will get to know whether you reach to the final day, which is going to be at IIT Delhi on 13th of August. And
let's pause. Are there any questions that you have? And you can please feel free to use the group. So Kamal, Avira is asking how many people will be selected for the semi-finals, finals?
So we'll have 6 students from 4 students from each category. Means we will have 8 teams from each category, 4 teams from junior, 8 students from junior category, and 8 from senior category. And then you'll have 2 semi-finals. And then whoever wins, they will be playing the finals.
Yes, Meera, go ahead.
Hello, I'm a parent. I have a question that
isn't the time span between the qualifiers, the finals, too less to plan to travel to Delhi?
Ma'am, actually, there are two things that we've taken into consideration. One is that you're right. I mean, for outstation students, what we will do is we will plan their matches in the earlier half. So what we tend to do is that if you're an outstation team, then we will make sure that you're playing your matches on 8th and 9th. Right?
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that,
at least 4 days buffer
yeah.
for whoever's traveling with a kid.
Yes. We tend to do that. And other thing is that in a public policy debate, the motion doesn't change. So in that sense, you're just going deeper into researching, but that's what the team is just going to talk about.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, Arna. So what about the groups? Will we choose? So that's one of the agenda, Arna. So just wait up. We'll just go over it. I just want to ask if there are any other doubts on the schedule right now, because we'll go one by one. Yes, Anand, 13th is the final date. Okay. Yeah, Karthik, go ahead. Ask.
Ma'am, like, can we finalize, like, can we select our teams ourselves, or will after the qualifiers will you select?
In the session today, we will tell you your teams. So just wait up. Sir is going to tell you your teams in another 30 minutes. Okay, the qualifiers are all virtual matches, so they'll be held online on Zoom.
And on the qualifier will be also 2 versus 2.
It will be 2 versus 2. Just wait up. Now you're running ahead. So let's move ahead. I think some of your questions, the ones that are raising the hand, will get answered. Rather, Bhuvan, just wait up for a little while and then let's open it up, okay? If somebody still thinks that they've got a question on the schedule, just ping. Otherwise, let's move. Yeah, Kamal.
Yeah, also for the qualifiers. So the matches will start from 4:30 till 8:30, but you will get your schedule in the next 2 days, which means you will get this exact time and date when you have to join for your match.
Yeah. But first things first, we'll train. Yes, Kamal, let's go move ahead.
This is the schedule for the training, that day by day what will get covered is there. So as I mentioned that we were looking at public forum as our format across the tournament, qualifiers and the finals. So first we will look at the fundamentals of public forum debate. What is the structure that is there? And then for each and every role, you're going to be first speaker, second speaker in the other part, that what you have to do, what is your role that you have to play. So what is your responsibility lies? And then how you go ahead and do the research, what is the credible source and all that you get to know in the first session tomorrow. Then on the 5th, you will get much more deeper. You will do case studies, do more specific granular research. How the adjudicator going to judge you, then going to be the second parameter, because as I mentioned, it's a different from other format. So you will also get to know a perspective that how ultimately adjudicator going to judge you. Then additionally, tips and tricks that we will share with you. And then there is a one component. So in other formats, you have point of information that how other teams going to engage with you. So here we will have crossfires where you can ask question to your opposition, and obviously you have to answer them back. That's going to be crossfire. And the last day we will play out.
Yeah, the important point is I don't want to encourage anybody missing the sessions. These are important sessions. These are high quality sessions. And like Kamal sir was going to conclude, that 6th is going to be a mock session. You will see yourself grow during the session. So please free up your calendar. And these are pretty much the session timings that are going to be there. Anvi, any personalized requests like that, please drop it to hello@ogly.ai. We can't have preferences like this catered because we've got 600 plus people debating right now, right? Otherwise, we'll miss out. So this call is to clarify on the orientation. Any requests, please just park it aside for now. All right, so just drop us an email. Yes, Kamal. So the important point here to note on the schedule is don't miss it. It'll be a loss. You won't enjoy it if you miss it. Let's go next, Kamal. So before we go to that, Kamal, maybe what we can do is I can see a lot more questions coming on the teams. Maybe we could just show them the teams for now. What we've done essentially, just as a background while Kamal sir opens up the PDF, is that we have made sure that all of you and most of you are playing within your teams of the schools as well, right? So a lot of you have come in from school nominations. So you will see that you've been paired up by the school itself with your school member. A lot of you who had directly applied to us without a team member, we have given you or chosen to give you your preferred partner, right? So very few dynamic teams are there. Kamal, if you can just show us the PDF for the junior team, then the students will be able to glance at it as to how to see it, and we will circulate it later on the WhatsApp group anyways.
Sure, I'm just doing it now.
So this PDF that Kamal sir will share, we will just circulate it on the group. Just have a look at it. You will be able to make out who your team member is. I'm assuming, and I may be wrong completely, that you will know your school member. If you don't know your school member, just ping on the group and say, hey, Anjali, I'm looking for you. You are my team member. Yes, Raghav, you have a question I can see.
We'll get this recording, right? Because some important information in the slides are there and we can refer it back in the
You
recording.
will get the PDF, but you might not get the recording. So don't worry. Just focus on what we are telling you. Don't worry about
Okay,
it.
so I need not take any screenshots or something.
No, you don't need to. Don't need to. Don't worry about that. Yes,
Okay.
Kamal, sir, over to you.
So this is the format that you will receive, which means that the team formation, look, many of you have recommended that who you want to partner with. If you have not, we have paired you dynamically with your school colleagues or your
So if we can look at
batchmates.
row number 8 right now, all of you can see row number 8. Kamal, can you just highlight it for us? We can see this team name is called DPS, BBPS. We have essentially taken the school names. So Sharvi Sharma from grade 8, DPS 45 is paired with Twisha, who's from Balbharti Public School. Okay. Otherwise, you'll see a lot of you are with the same school itself. Any doubt on this one? Good. I can see all of you are clear. So Kamal, we can close this PDF and we can come back to the deck, because I think it's very important that we go over the topic itself. Just before we go, Avira, you wanted to ask something?
Yeah, I have a question regarding the teams. So basically, I do have a teammate that from my school that I want to pair up with. However, due to like complications with the form, we weren't able to. So is there a way we could swap or we could decipher that?
Avira, we just lost the teams already.
Yes, ma'am, the same issue is with me. I had actually put my name with Myra Bhandari Heritage Experiential Learning School, but my name has come with someone else. I mean, we were...
Yeah, same question, same thing happened with me.
Okay, so maybe your partner has not registered.
Sir, both of us have registered.
Okay.
So can I just suggest, if you have such questions, Kamal, can we ask them to quickly drop us a note at hello@ogly.ai? You know our email ID.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
if I wanted to, my name on the form has been entered wrong. It's been entered as my mom's name, which is Asha Masuri. So how so where do I talk? Who do I talk to change that?
Your Panisha, your God over here is the email ID I have just pinged on the group. Everything that you tell to this email ID gets registered. Everything you tell us like this on the call, we miss. Okay. So just drop us quick mails, because then after this call, we will keep actioning it. And yes, that tends to happen. Often the parent's name is come in as this thing. Yes, the PDFs will also be sent on the group, right? So the teams are absolutely decided. Okay, only by exception will I look at the request that you come in and then come back to you. Otherwise, most likely we are going to keep with the same one. Okay. I know all of you have a lot of friends, but we need to get on with our debate, and we are already at 6:48. Should we go ahead with the format and a little bit of what is the motion? Do we all know what the motion is? I want a raise of hands. I want to see how many of you have read the email. How many of you know the motion? What is the topic that we are debating? Do we know it? Do we not know it? All right, let's do a raise of hands. 16, 17 out of 82. It's rising. How many of you know the motion? That's the question I'm asking, because that's the most important thing. It's the beauty of public policy debate, right? That we already told you what the motion is.
So ma'am, the motion for the qualifier, semi-final and final would be same.
Absolutely. That's why I need you to focus on that right now. So I can see 35 hands up. Oh, I can see one gone down. 35 is final. Kamal, I think it's very important that we discuss the motion first then. So should we go ahead? So thank you, 34 of you. You know what the motion is, but I think it's interesting when we tell you the motion, then the complexity is in the format. So why don't we put our hands down, lest it gets tired, and we will tell you what the topic is and how to prepare for it. So Afreen ma'am, if you're ready, may I please introduce you? You couldn't have had a better public policy adjudicator with yourself. If I were to introduce Afreen ma'am, it will take me a lot of time because of the amount of debating tournaments that she's won and adjudicated. But the most prestigious one that she's just adjudicated is the Doxy Bridge WSDC. And she was kind enough to spend some time to train you all. Apart from this, you must know that public policy is a debate that we're introducing in India for the first time. So she normally adjudicates for international teams, but she's taken out the time. So make the best out of it. Afreen ma'am, over to you. Would you like us to share the slides as you go along?
Yes, thank you so much for that introduction. Yes, I would want the PPTs to be shared, please.
Yes, Kamal sir, please.
All right, so as you all know how the motion actually looks like, at least 35 people amongst us actually know what the motion is. But let me just simplify what a motion is. Motion is basically the topic that you're going to debate upon. That basically means the topic which you would either be speaking for or against, which would be decided later. Let's not go into that. But the theme for this particular tournament is going to be clean energy. We all know how important clean energy is. We all know how much environment is important, how much it has a value in terms of in our lives and all of that. So let's not also go into that, but also try to understand what the topic of this tournament looks like. And basically, when you talk about public forum, it's a tournament which revolves around particular names. So since it's a format which is used in America, they used to have their topics from America, but since for the first time we are having it in India, we also introduced a topic which is going to be focusing around India. So the topic is India should increase the use of nuclear energy for commercial energy production. Now, when it comes to this particular topic, we have also had a couple of posts on Instagram. So you can always see what are the tips in terms of what and how you can make your arguments. But you need to basically understand that this topic is going to try to revolve around why India as an actor, as in why India should do it. Like why not like other nations, but why India specifically. So you need to talk about what currently India's energy or like nuclear energy looks like, or what is commercial energy production. And for all of that, you need to have basic working knowledge of what nuclear energy is, how the energy translate into commercial purposes. So for all of that, you need to research, right? You need to know the in and out of the topic. You need to actually understand the basics of the topic, and for that you need to read. And where would you read from? So this particular reading source is not something which is exhaustive. You have all the liberty to use internet, books, journals, newspaper articles, every single thing which you can gain knowledge from. So we have also like pin down couple of reading sources. This one is a source as well, so you can know what are the country profiles, how nuclear energy in different nations actually work. And you have a couple of economic times articles too. So you can read. This is just an example of how you can go ahead with your research to give you some amount of idea on how to start with. If you're completely scared of, oh my god, I don't know about nuclear energy, you don't need to be worried about it. Nuclear energy is very simple. When you start reading about it, your parents, your coaches, your teachers would help you out with that. But in case if there is anything with this topic, you could ask me about the question in terms of what is this topic about, or like I can't give you arguments because that's against the entire sense of the competition. But let me know if you did not understand the topic and how that topic basically would look like. So I would just like simply tell you that, so from side proposition, that is, there are obviously two teams. One is proposition, one is the con, pro and con. So pro would be supporting the motion that, listen, India should increase the use of nuclear energy for commercial energy production. And the con would be against it, and that would be negating. That basically means India should not increase the use of nuclear energy. All right, if you guys have any questions, you can ask.
Yes, so Pranay, you can go first. Pranay, are you asking or should we go to Amy?
Sorry, I wasn't asking.
Okay, no worries. Amy, do you want to ask your question right now?
Yes, ma'am. I have a doubt as to this. Should India increase the use of nuclear energy for commercial energy production? How are we to study about this, in the sense what points are we to gather, and how to speak? Will we be able to cover that, ma'am?
Okay, so what you're supposed to do is you have to research for both the sides, because you wouldn't be given which side you're going to speak right now. So you would have to prepare for the motion also and against the motion also. Okay. So when it comes to for the motion, you would try to understand what are the benefits when we increase the use of nuclear energy, and what are the advantages of it, why we should do it. So you basically tell the advantages, the positives, the benefits of the particular idea that is going to be resolved. So why India should increase the use of nuclear energy, the positives of it from side proposition, the benefits of that particular thing. I can't give you what are the benefits, obviously, but just try to find out the advantages of the entire topic. And from side opposition, you would be like, no, India should not increase the use of nuclear energy, because there are so many harms with that. And you can basically use any kind of harms that are like that comes to your mind. There's no proper like boundaries that we are forming here. So you can use it's harmful for particular thing, as in like a particular nation or globally, institutionally, all of those can be used. So you don't have any buzz on what could be the benefit, what could be the harm. Is it a small harm or is it a small benefit? You don't need to care about that. So if it is a benefit, might as well argue that.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, Anya, what's your question, please?
Ma'am, it is about the WhatsApp group. Actually, my mother deleted it by mistake, so I had to ask you.
That's okay. So just put it on the chat group, the number that you want us to add. Let's move. Krishna, what is your doubt?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask that this topic will be till finals.
Yes, Krishna. Yes, we go deeper into the topic, so the topic will remain the same. Myra, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask if the teams we are in, can we decide the teams that you will go like against the topic or for the motion?
No, we'll declare that. Focus on researching on the topic for now, but we will declare that. Rija,
so there's going to be much more a possibility that you're supposed to argue, because there are 2 qualifier rounds. Okay, so you have 2 rounds, so there are possibilities that you're supposed to in one round be the pro, and in another round you're supposed to be con. So be prepared for both of them. And also it's like good to have as much amount of research as possible, because the topic is remains same till finals. You can use the same arguments that you use in qualifier. So might as well research till an extent, and assuming that you would go to finals for sure, work hard, try to gain all possible knowledge, because I think that even if that's not public forum, it's a very genuine topic that India is currently discussing about. So it's always good to have that current affairs knowledge inside you as well. So just like research for both the sides.
Go ahead. Raghav, you had a question?
Yes, ma'am. So as you said that the topic will remain same till the finals. But ma'am, there are 2 themes, right? And there is wildlife preservation too. So ma'am, how
no,
can
that's the topic for seniors. It's my mistake. I think I posted it incorrectly. For the juniors, it's going to be only this topic.
So juniors in okay.
Yep.
Got it.
That
Now got
clarifies.
it.
Okay, we want to keep moving. So Arna, what's the question that you have?
Ma'am, what is the time limit for the speech?
We are coming to that, Arna, in a bit. Jeshwant, any questions only on the topic, please ask me right now.
Ma'am, may I know when we're going to do the toss for picking which side we're going to be on the debate?
We'll inform you about that a little later. So anything else with respect to the topic? I think we are reasonably clear. If you are not clear, put it on the chat group over here on the Zoom call or on WhatsApp later. Just one thing, I just want to summarize this slide right now. I know all of you are young. That's why you may not be following Instagram. In case your parents are, they can go and check because we posted some very interesting tips. So Kamal sir, if you can just move on the slide next. You will see on the Instagram channel, starting from August onwards. Just one second, let me summarize what I'm saying. We posted a few tips with respect to nuclear clean energy just to get you started. Okay, so you can go into the Instagram link that is there on the previous slide. We'll post it after this call on the group as well. Kamal, just go next. I'm just showcasing. So you got the principles, you've got who are the good thinkers on it. You've got some video references, you've got some reading sources that are mentioned. So there's a lot that is mentioned to get you all started. Okay. So yes, Tanishi, the debate's going to be online for the qualifiers. Amy, if your parents are not on Instagram, it's not a problem. This deck will be circulated. It has the same pages as well. Okay. Yes, Karthik?
Ma'am, like in the debate, do we have to like quote the source we have taken the information from?
I like this question. So should we just park it when ma'am will discuss the format? Our free ma'am is just going to discuss the format in a bit. Okay.
Okay.
So are there any other questions with respect to topic? But I want to make sure, and I'm going to check this right now, how many of us know the topic and are comfortable with it. And I just want to make sure everybody is, because that's the beauty of public policy debate. You already know what the topic is, right? If your parents are not on Instagram, it's not a problem. We have put these slides over here on this deck as well, right? Arjun, you can see this deck has got these slides, right? So don't worry about it. I can still see the hands up. I'm assuming these doubts are with respect to the debate topic, Neera?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Ma'am, so in the finals, will the topic still be the same, or it will be from the theme, which is clean energy?
No, it's going to be exactly the same topic. It's amazing. I was also very surprised when they told me that. But it's just going to be the same because you just go deeper in thinking about it. Rather, last question from you on the same slide. Go ahead. Okay, he's
yeah.
Okay.
I
think we are good. Neera, put your hand down, please. I take the raise of hands very seriously. If you are all comfortable, then I want to know, there is nobody who doesn't know the topic, is uncomfortable with it. Because now we are moving to a very important section, which is about the format of the debate. Right? So Kamal sir, if we can just move forward on the format of the debate. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely, ma'am, over to you.
All right, so a couple of you had questioned what is the time limit, how does the speech and everything work. So we are going to be following modified public forum format for the benefit of all of us, because it's going to be much more easier, shorter, so that we all know how things work in general. So for you, because you guys are in juniors section, what we're going to use is this one. So try to follow the arrows and numbers very carefully. So when you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's going to be the order in which the speakers are going to speak, which means pro speaker 1. Let's take examples, okay? So we have two teams. One team is pro, another team is con. Let's say that pro has two people called Sam and Jam, okay? Sam and Jam are in one team, which is pro. The other team is, let's say, Ram and Sham, okay? Other team is Ram and Sham with who? Con, okay? So Sam and Jam are pro, they're supporting the motion. Now let's take the example that Sam is pro speaker 1, okay? So Sam would start the entire debate. Now what would Sam do is basically tell a 2-minute speech, which is going to tell you about what and why a particular person should be supporting this particular motion, which means they would tell you, listen, these are the advantages of probably going ahead and having nuclear energy being used as commercial purpose and all of that. Okay, now Sam has only 2 minutes, so after 2 minutes the floor would go to pro, which is Ram and Sham. Okay, let's assume that Ram is the first speaker. Okay, now Ram goes and tells why you should not go ahead and give a particular like why you should not go ahead and have nuclear energy being used, and they would probably, let's say, give the disadvantages of the entire motion. Okay, the first speech is from, yes, you do introduce that, but we would go into like how what a particular speaker does. No, you can't. Okay, go. Let's just
know the format.
Yeah.
Let's know the format. Address the questions later, Afi.
All right, cool. So the basic concept is the first speaker, Sam, went ahead, 2 minutes, told about what the topic is, what nuclear energy is, what are the commercial purposes, what are the benefits of it, what are the advantages of it. But they have only 2 minutes, followed by the first speaker from Con, that is Ram. He goes ahead and tells, listen, this is what nuclear energy looks like, but we don't think we should use it for commercial purposes. All right, the first set is completely clear. Now, the second thing that comes is that as soon as the first speaker from both the sides, that is Sam and Ram, are done, they're going to question each other. Now, that questioning round is called as Crossfire. Okay, now crossfires are generally for 3 minutes, but for you guys, it's going to be 2 minutes only. Everything is for 2 minutes. The basic idea, everything 2 minutes. Okay, so the crossfire is going to be 2 minutes, where first question, since Sam spoke first, Sam is going to ask, oh, listen, the second argument that you asked, I don't think that makes sense. Would you explain that to me again? And then Ram would go ahead and ask answer that question. Okay, so the crossfire basically is Ram and Sam are going to ask each other questions based on the speech that they had. Okay, probably 2 minutes weren't enough. So probably 2 minutes weren't probably like enough for them to understand the case, understand the arguments, why a particular thing is an advantage or not. So they would use the 2 minutes in order to understand each other's case better. So first speaker gets the first question, the second speaker gets the second question, and they would keep doing that until the end of the crossfire, which is for 2 minutes. All right, now the first set is completely done. Now move to the third mark. Right now, since I told you Sam and Jam were a particular team, right? Now who would speak? Jam would be the second speaker. Now Jam would also give since Jam has now listened to Ram, who was from the other speaker, like the constructive speaker one. Now Jam would tell that, listen, the disadvantages that you told do not actually make sense, and the reasons are basically 1, 2, 3, 4, and they would basically try to rebut all the arguments that came from Ram. All right, so the second speaker goes ahead and gives a 2-minute speech and tells why whatever the first speaker from negative or the opponents told do not actually have value to begin with. Okay, so they would also get 2 minutes. Now since one speech is over, who would go next is the fourth speaker, and you can see the mark 4, right? So there is con speaker 2. Who was the con speaker 2? That was Sham. Now Sham would also give rebuttals in his speech. So now Sham has listened to 2 speeches. Sham has listened to pro speaker 1 and pro speaker 2. Now Sham would be able to rebut to 2 speakers, like largely, that listen, what Sam and Jam told actually do not make sense because of these reasons, and we think our reasoning makes more sense, our reasoning has much more value, and you should care more about, let's say, a particular thing more than the other. Okay, so that's how the second set goes on. Okay, second speaker from both sides would have 2 minutes to tell why, to rebut the other person. Okay, now once they're done, they would also have the ability to ask questions. Now who would be asking the questions? It would be Jam and Sham. Now Jam and Sham are going to be asking each other question that, listen, what you said was probably wrong, and that's how I am going to like prove to you that why that is wrong or why that is right. They can ask and answer each other's question. Now who would get the first question? Since Jam spoke first, Jam would take the first question, Sham would answer that question, and then Sham would get the second question, Jam would answer, and that would also like continue for 2 minutes. Now since every speaker now has gotten one chance to speak, now the judge is confused. Who should I vote? Who should I give the debate to? Who is going to win the debate? So as a team, you need to make sure that you convince the judge that we are the ones who spoke better, we gave better arguments, we gave better reasonings as to why a particular thing should happen. All right. Then you both, that is you as a team, would decide as to who would go ahead and give final focus. Now, final focus is the last do or die situation for your team to convince the judge that these are the reasons as to why we win. Now, who would give the final focus from each team? So since you just have two speakers, right? So you as a team can decide who can go ahead and give final focus. So it can either be Sam or Jam, or it can either be Sham or Ram. All right. So there is no bar on who is going to give final focus as of right now, because that is the modified format. So that's how basically it would work. Everybody gets 2 minutes. The crossfire is for 2 minutes. The constructive speech is for 2 minutes. The way how you're going to rebut is also going to be 2 minutes, and final focus is also for 2 minutes. Okay. Any questions on this is now going to be entertained. So
so let's go one by one, Afi. I'm going to answer a few questions that were on the chat only. So, and I'm going to also check for the quality of the questions. So I want you to make sure that you're listening in, all of you, so that your questions are already answered. So Raghav, no, you're not doing 1 minute. We are telling you that all of you get a chance to do 2-minute speeches. Don't change the format, utilize it to the maximum. And then now this is an interesting question, Afri. Can we interrupt the other person in the crossfire?
Okay, so I think debating is a place where you're supposed to be nice and you're supposed to listen to the other person before replying it to them, right? So we promote healthy debating, which basically means no, you cannot interrupt the other person in the crossfire. You have to first listen to their question, answer to them, and then ask them another question. And that's how it's going to be a civil environment for everyone to speak, to give their opinions, and for you to listen also. So it's very unfair, a very rude behavior to interrupt somebody during crossfire. It's always good to be nice. People enjoy debating and wait for the other person to finish and then start.
Yeah, so the short answer is, and I think there's a very nice slide on how to behave during a crossfire. We often get influenced by TV debating. Don't do that. Debating is very civil and activity. Trust me, it's going to help you win all the debates with your parents as well. Okay, so let's utilize the civil etiquettes on this one. So in the rebuttal round, Jashwant is asking Afri, in the rebuttal round, we will try to prove the other person wrong, right? And I think Ayan has already answered yes. So Ayan, thank you so much for understanding. How many matches are there in round one? So Karthik, if I can correct you, you all will play 2 rounds of qualifier matches. Okay, so that is one. But if you see the sequence, then you guys, all of you, so not guys, all of you as debaters are getting 1 minimum or 2 opportunities to speak, because either you are a pro speaker 1 or a pro speaker 2, or in the con side you are speaker 1 or speaker 2, and in the final focus you as a team will decide that, listen, I'm going to take the final focus, the final summary, final speech that has to come in. So 1 to 2 chances you all can exercise. You're right. What else? You didn't understand the rebuttal part, Kavya. That's exactly why we've kept the training session. Today is not a training. We just wanted to introduce you just to the format. So munch on what ma'am is saying today, because tomorrow we will go into it. Right? We'll go into the details of it, Kavya. Don't worry about the rebuttal part, right? She will go one by one in this one. Anant, in terms of who's speaking on the finals focus, that's for you to decide as a team. Right? Yes, that's a lovely exercise, Sharvya. I hope I got it. Sharvya. That's a lovely name. I got it right, I think. Yeah, I think you should look at writing notes, and I think Afreen ma'am is going to give you a good idea on tips on how do you create something called a case file as we go through the training sessions, which is why we are very keen that you don't miss it. Right? But yes, intuitively what you're saying is absolutely right. How are we supposed to discuss who? Oh, right. Shivank, we normally use a Google document. Afreen, that's a lovely question that Shivank has asked. How are we supposed to discuss who will speak the final focus? So you can talk to each other on WhatsApp. You can talk to each other on a Google Word document. That's how Afreen ma'am and I are chatting right now. And you are all not realizing it. So you can talk on a lot of virtual documents, but we will teach you that during your training sessions. Yeah, rebuttal is proving your team right and the other team wrong. You explicitly need to tell us in the final focus why your team won, right? You're absolutely right about that, Karthik. And the person's asking, questioning when the crossfire ends. Then, Parv, would you like to finish what you're saying in your question? I didn't understand. Maybe you can unmute and ask. Parv Goyal, do you want to unmute and ask your question? I'm reading your message at 7:12. Okay, till he, are you there? Okay, he's thinking about it. So let me keep moving. Ayan, we are giving you up to 2 minutes. Don't take 1 minute. You take 2 minutes at every level, right? Take maximum, use the maximum time that we are giving you. Yeah. Afreen, I can see Akilan asking pro and con speaker get one question each. This is at 7:12.
Yes, so you can start with the first question. The pro starts with the first question, the con answers, and then con asks another question to pro. So you can do it until 2 minutes. So you can decide how much time you can, how many questions you can actually ask within 2 minutes. So it can go on unlimited number of questions, provided you finish it in 2 minutes.
Yeah. So Simran, you're right about it. Is everybody is getting a chance to answer and question, right? See, that's the beauty. Normally what happens is debating, you give your speech, the next one comes in. The crossfire is literally to say, listen, you gave a speech, I gave a speech, but I have a question for you. So everybody gets that chance to play in the crossfire. So write about it. Is it correct if I say I rest my case here? It's nice. I mean, it's sweet, Harshit. Then there are many more ways of closing it, but there's nothing wrong with what you've suggested. Bismat is asking Afreen, in the crossfire, is there an order that the pro speaker has to speak first, or anyone can ask? Whoever has the question can start, especially in the crossfire. I think crossfire is very interesting. Can I do one thing, Afreen, if you're okay? We could just move to the crossfire slide for a little bit, because I'm actually just very impressed with this group that they are able to understand crossfire so fast. We were hoping to cover it in detail tomorrow. Just 1 second, Afreen, I'm just going through the questions. So all of you debaters, we will go into the format of the debate in detail from tomorrow, because tomorrow is the training session. We were just getting you started. So I'm answering all the other questions, Afreen. Give me a second. So final focus, crossfire, we'll ask. Bhuvan, you are doing these debates online only, so you can write on your laptop.
What about in the semi-finals and finals? Do we have to use a notepad, or can?
Yeah. So semi-finals, finals, because it's a physical debate, we will be able to see you. So normally people use a small card, but allow us to train you when we get there, right? Is that okay, Bhuvan? So like ideal, these are not 3 matches and qualifiers. They are 2 matches because the intensity of debate is higher, Karthik. So 2 matches will happen over here, right? And
in this format, there will be 2 of these.
2 of these. Yeah. So Srinidhi, it's a great question that you're asking. We are going to give you feedback in these sessions. So for the students who have played in the earlier Ogly matches, we got a lot of feedback from you that you would like to get feedback. So we are going to give you feedback in your match. After your match, we'll do 10 minutes of feedback time, right? How can somebody cheat while discussing with their teammate? You are meant to discuss with your teammate. We want you to work as a team, right? So got it? So you should be not cheating, but talking to each other on WhatsApp or on a Google Sheet to say, hey, listen, I said that argument, but that was her problem. So you can utilize this point on the crossfire. We want you to learn how to work with each other. I'm not commenting on the questions on the format. Afreen, just glance it, because as you just take them through the crossfire slide, you can keep answering it. Final focus, what else am I missing out? I think I've gotten to, yes, you can look at your computer and speak for sure, Amy, but you know, the point is that because we are expecting you to think about what would you like to ask Anjali after she has given your speech, we want you to think when she's speaking as well. So for sure, if I were you, Amy, I will sort of put my thoughts, put my constructives, put my speech together. But when my opponent is speaking now, I want you to listen to her, because you have your points, she has your points. As preparation, you have also thought through the topic from both sides. you have to be able to listen to her to be able to run the crossfire, right? So you can memorize your speech, but the point is that I need you to listen to when the other person's speaking so that you can contribute in the crossfire. I hope that answers, Amy.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes. So what happens is, Nirav, you don't get time and to use PPTs for reference. Normally you're thinking through the points, right? That's why it's very important to understand the topic. So one of the things that we've seen with young debaters now, that it's very nice that the elder siblings help them and the parents help them, and then they pick up very big words that they don't understand. We know you are 12 years old. We know you are at max 14 years old. So don't sound like a 24-year-old. You don't have to. You just have to sound logical. Okay? And I can't discuss the debate topic, but the topic you must understand and write. Simplicity of communication can be much better than complex words that you don't understand, that you memorize and you blurt it out. And when somebody's questioning you on the crossfire, you are sounding blank. Not a good idea, right? So just try to make sure that you have done your homework earlier rather than trying to use the PPT during the debate. Right? What else do you have? There's so many questions that you want to have. So whatever I don't answer, we will answer it later. Not a problem. We are anyways with you for the next 3 days. So we'll come to this, Nirav. What points are the judge going to select? We are going to take you through it. Scripts are allowed on PCs. We don't care whether you're working on paper or on PCs. I'm telling you, qualifiers are online. Okay. Harshit, your time to make notes has started already. I mean, you already know the topic. You can start making your notes. You can work with your partner and divide it between yourselves to say, you know, why don't you write about the pros? I could write about the cons. Or you can think about either which way, right? And as you go through the trainings, you will just learn how to research better, how to think and how to sort of structure your points, right? What else? Yes. So now that they are asking so many questions, I think we are ready for your next slide, Afrin. And we have 9 minutes to the call because the senior students will come in. So let ma'am just take you through the few questions that sessions that she has. Yes, Afrin, please, over to you.
All right. So I think a couple of questions are based on how do we prepare, and can we see the slides, or can we see the script while debating? So that's all allowed. You can see your scripts, and that's exactly why you're supposed to research, right? So that's where the preparation part begins, and that's why you need to really listen to it, because that's this period of yours is preparation. So understand what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do whatsoever. Okay. So in terms of what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to have a common document for all your sources of research. All right. So you would have your teammates now. You can have a common Google Doc, or you can have like a MS Word or anything which you both have access to. Okay. So now what you would do is like you can start researching on Google, put your copy paste those paragraphs or those links which you think are very relevant in that particular document. Okay. So you both are on the same page, and that's where the cheating part or the element comes into picture, because you were like, ma'am, isn't it cheating? So it's actually not cheating. It's basically called teamwork. Okay. So you're supposed to show the judge that you both as a team are well together and can prove why the other side is not as great as you. So you need to work as a team, research as a team, be on the same page. Don't be like, I don't know what argument the other person is actually running. My argument is different. Don't at all work on that, because even if the constructive speech one is based on telling the positives, the rebuttal speech is always supposed to like reconstruct on what the first speaker has told, right? And we would deal with that later. Okay. Just make sure that you both are aware of what the topic is, what the arguments are, and what are the research material that you have actually put forward.
Ma'am, the topic is the same for the finals and semi-finals, right?
Yes, it is. Okay. Now, second thing is research from credible sites only. Now, what are credible sites? Wikipedia is not credible site. Do not refer to Wikipedia. What you can do is research on, let's say, just type it on Google and see what articles actually have the credibility that you want. Credibility basically means, do you have author's name in that particular article? Do you think that the article has necessary footnotes? Let's not go into footnotes right now, but basically things like encyclopedia, things like Britannica, things like I guess iPleader's blog. All of these are very good resources. Particularly, you can also use things like news articles, statistics that are being being given by, let's say, government of India, all of that you can use. Okay, so just try to find credible sites which are being cited by people, and it's not something which nobody actually knows about. Just try to use those sites only. Third thing is cross check your evidence from other sources too, as to be 100% sure. So a lot of times you see in what particular research that was being given, it says that, oh, the number of nuclear power that India has is probably 95. The other side says that no, it's 16. So make sure that you're getting at least quantitatively and qualitatively good amount of research, and you know that it's not something which is wrong, which is factually untrue. Okay, and you can always check it by different sites. So let's say you check on site 1, it says 95, site 2 says it's 20, site 3 says it's 20. So you obviously know that 20 seems to be much more credible than the other way, right? So just try to cross check the evidence. Evidence basically means the proof that is you're going to use, so, or the statistics or all of that. So just try to have multiple sources which are going to like confirm your research to begin with. Okay, the next thing is advisable to use before summary and final focus speech. Now, preparation, there are the two types of preparation. One preparation is the preparation that you're doing right now. The second preparation is during the round. Okay, so during the round you get 2 minutes of preparation time. Now this preparation time you can use as a way, when you were telling how can we write notes, how do you know when to ask Crossfire or which questions to ask. So let's say the first speech is over, you can say, judge, can I take 1 minute of my prep time? And you have collectively 2 minutes of prep time, right? So you can say, judge, can I use 1 minute of prep time? And the judge says yes, and you can take 1 minute to write notes and have like collect your thoughts as to like how you can probably ask questions. But what is the best way to use the prep time collectively as a team is before summary or final focus speech, because for your format there is no summary speech, there is final focus only. So because final focus is the speech which you haven't necessarily prepared and you're supposed to convince the judge based on what happened in the debate, you can always take, judge, I would like to take 1 minute and I would want to like frame my speech. You don't need to like give your reasoning as to why you want to take the prep time, it's all on you. So take the prep time, write your notes, collect your thoughts, and then start with your final focus speech. Okay, the next and the last part about what you should do is coordinate with your team regarding division of the prep time. All right, so you have 2 minutes, so probably the first speaker would want 1 minute 45 seconds, or the first speaker would want 1 minute 30 seconds. So always try to coordinate with your team and your teammate as to how much should be the division of that particular prep time. Do not be like, listen, I'm going to use 2 minutes entirely. That's not good teamwork to begin with. So just be nice and try to have as much amount of communication with your teammate as well. Now, what you shouldn't do during the prep time, during this time when you're making your research, you're trying to find out arguments. So first thing is, do not have different or uncoordinated research with your partner. It's not good to have different speeches or the different case files when you're in the debate room thinking that I want to speak better than my teammate. That's not how public forum works. You have to have one case file, and you have to have that amount of coordination, because let's say if there was one evidence that was being used by the first speaker, and in the second crossfire you are being asked that your first speaker was talking about that evidence, can you show it to me? So that's when you need to have that coordination amongst your teams as well. Second is, do not utilize your prep time without informing the judge in the room. So don't be like, I would want to prepare, and you, so well, let's say when judge asks like, this is the time for this the final focus to begin, and you're not responding, you're just preparing, just don't do that. It just makes everyone in the debate room very confused. So always inform the judge that I would like to take the prep time, so that the judge can also time you and inform you that your time is over, and so forth. So just try to utilize the prep time with informing your judge. The next thing is that do not have the entirety of prep time being used by one speaker only. That shows that you don't have a good teamwork and team coordination. You just want to utilize all the prep time by yourself. And lastly, do not exceed the total prep time that is being given during the debate to you. Do not exceed 2 minutes at all. Okay. Now we can enter in the questions.
Yeah, I mean, so Arna, do you have a question? We have 3 minutes to go. So 2 minutes rather, quickly.
I have like, how will the qualifier rounds go about? Like 6th class versus 6th class, or 6th class versus 7th class, or 8th class?
6th to 8th is one category. Once you're a category, you're a category. So okay. It could be 6th versus 7th, could be versus 8th, 9th grader against 12th grader, because 9th to 12th is a combined category. Arya, go ahead. Some of you keep posting your questions on the group as well. I will make sure everybody will respond to it. Arya, if you're not asking, Ishita, do you want to go ahead?
Yes. I have one more question.
Yeah. Okay.
Ma'am, what is the difference between rebuttal and crossfire?
Rebuttal is when you have prepared for your speech, but crossfire could be I asking a question out of my opponent's speech. Okay. Rebuttal is what you would prepare, but crossfire is because I just heard the speaker before me or after me speak, then I have a question to ask. And that's why ma'am is trying to focus on evidence. That when you are preparing for your research, please, when you prepare your own rough notes, keep writing your researches together. Okay, I have a lot of senior students who are joining in. I really wanted to make sure that you get comfortable with the orientation, and I wanted to give you 24 hours to come with more questions, because now I'm seeing that a lot of questions that you're asking, Anvi, this month, are related to the format, which is a part of the agenda tomorrow. So worry not, now is the time you can think about your topic. I do want you to go and look at the topic and research on it, because we will